Nice. Locker room number 82. Look at this. We're back.
We're back.
You glad to be here?
Yeah, baby. Back in the saddle.
It was, I don't want to say it was a your fault thing because I've been ready to do this for weeks. Like, Sam texts me every single week and says, hey, man, like, we're going to do some sports this week. And I have to tell him, no, I don't have a co-host.
That is accurate. I will say some of it has been my fault. Some of it is also because Reed texts me 48 hours in advance and says, hey, locker room Thursday? Turns out I have a career. Turns out I have a business to run, and that's pretty hard for me to do.
You have a business to run. Let's be careful here.
Okay.
It technically is, but it's you're an independent contractor. Do you get this?
No, I don't. Welcome back to Tropics Weekly. Oh, Flint Tropics. This is got it.
Do you see Andrew Moon?
That is pretty damn funny. Nice. Where is he? Has anybody heard from him?
Yeah, I did talk to him. He was pretty distraught when we were in Boston because the Celtics lost.
Oh, right. I did see him balling out on the streets of Hoop Fest here. Not long
did he win?
Ago. I don't know. He was walking, or he was playing. He was playing on a team. He looked pretty good. He's in way better shape than me. So.
Well, yeah, that's
not
that
as good
hard.
looking of a co-host. So.
There you go.
You win some, you lose some.
You do win and lose some. All right, like I said, number 82, and there's a few former Seahawks. I think the most, Darryl Jackson, number 82, probably had been the most famous until Luke Wilson, over his time in Seattle, made a bunch of big-time catches.
Yeah.
Biggest catch by Luke Wilson. Do you know what it is?
Yeah, the 2-point conversion against the Packers in 2014.
Absolutely ridiculous catch.
That was a joke that even happened. Was that Clinton Dix who missed?
I don't know if it was.
Who should have picked it off?
I don't know if was on him or not, but
I'm drawing a blank on who that
was. It was not good. It was not good by any means. I mean, Wilson scrambled, spun like 3 times, and then literally threw it straight up in the air.
Yep.
And it landed on the goal line.
Yeah, that was unbelievable. Then we proceeded to not give the ball to Marshawn 2 weeks later in Super Bowl 49.
It happens.
It happens. Again, you win some and you lose some.
You win some, you lose some. Your potential chance at a dynasty doesn't happen sometimes when you do end up losing that. But Darryl Jackson, I always loved D-Jack.
Love D-Jack. Love me some D-Jack. And it's funny, and I sent you a couple videos and Snapchats or a picture or something a few weeks ago in Super Bowl 40 was on between the Steelers and the Seahawks. And, I watched the first half, and I haven't watched that game honestly, probably over a decade. And I tell you what, I stand here today and say we got absolutely hosed by the refs. And it felt like that way back in February of 2006. And I tell you what, it felt even worse watching it here a month ago because we got absolutely hosed.
I love getting called for a low block on a tackle.
Yeah, a low block on a tackle on an interception return by our quarterback.
Yeah.
And then the reason I bring up Super Bowl 40 is because of Darryl Jackson with the push-off. That really wasn't. So
that was bad. That was even as I was younger there at that time, I still recognize the complete ineptability.
Yeah.
Maybe
yeah.
Of the officials, and even after the fact. Bill Levy talked about how he couldn't sleep at night for a while after that Super Bowl, and I think that just kind of goes to show you that even he understands. Like, we made some mistakes there, so that one hurt for sure. And of course, who can't remember Ruvell Martin?
Honestly, what team was he on?
He was there right before Luke Wilson, so he'd have been there in like 2012. Before the Super Bowl. Year. So I think Luke Wilson came in a year later. I just remember I think it was like a 6'3" white guy.
Probably.
Does that sound right? Ruvell Martin.
Like Joe Jaravicious?
Just like Joe Jaravicious. I do love Ruvell Martin. Oh, he was not white.
Ruvell, to be fair, doesn't really sound like a white name.
Yeah, that guy's not.
Nope. That's a swing and a miss.
That's I was thinking of Russell Martin.
Oh, okay, that might make more sense.
that makes sense. Still a little unfortunate there. It happens. You win some, you lose some. By the way, Jordan McGowan owes me $5. Did you hear about this conversation last night, or were you just kind of blocking it out?
I heard Hank Blaylock's name. That's it.
So Jordan said, "Hey Reed, I will give you $5 if you can tell me my favorite Texas Rangers player from when I was a kid." I said Hank Blaylock. He said exactly. So you
wow.
$5.
Wow.
By the way, speaking of last night, we were at the Fieldhouse Pizza after another 2 wins by Spoken Night Brewing. Our softball team is now 4-0. I just was looking. We've given up 9 runs in 4 games.
Yeah, shout out A.J. Christensen. The guy doesn't like to give himself any credit, but, man, he has been
Cy Young.
He's a Cy Young contender here for this year in E-League softball for the summer.
I mean, he has to be. I mean, you look at some of these other teams and just the amount of poor pitching that you're getting from them. I mean, he should be considered like the top pitcher in the league. Like he's really putting. This is contract year.
Yep.
So he's really putting himself in position to make a lot of money. But Outlaw Barbecue has given up 65 runs. Grass Stain 64, and we've given up 9.
That is also some pretty damn good defense.
That is good defense all across the board. Shortstop play has been pretty poor though, with Jordan McGowan there, but that's okay.
And third base. This guy plays third base. He should have heard that softball hitting off his wrists last
twice.
night.
It was
twice.
Unfortunate.
Hit him in the wrist twice.
That was brutal.
It was pretty hilarious. When he misses a ground ball, it's pretty funny because he takes his glove and he like throws it in the ground. And he completely disconnects from the play.
I do never hurt my glove.
He do never hurt his glove.
I never hurt my glove.
He do never.
Ever. All right, well, speaking of teams that are also streaking, we've won 4 in a row, but the Mariners have won 10.
How about them M's, baby?
10 games. I got a text from their social media staff or whatever, and it said, like, Mariners, WWW, 10 W's win. Like, they're really going on like over the top with this, and why not? This is the first time they've won 10 games since, 2002, I think is what I sent you last night?
Yep.
And they had won 9 games for the first time since 2003. So it's been a long time since the Mariners have went on a streak like this, and they're doing it in all different ways. You know, they're winning 2-1. They're winning 9-0. They're winning games where they have to come back. They're winning games where their pitching staff drives their offense. They're winning games where their offense carries their pitching staff. And that's different from what it used to be, because it was always with the Mariners. It was always, we have a great offensive day, and yet our pitching gives up 10 runs. We lose 10-9. Or our pitching staff throws an absolute gem. They give up 1 run. Felix gives up a complete game, 1-run game, and we don't score any runs for him.
Yep.
And that happened for a long, long time. And it kind of feels like this team is putting it together, and they're finding what makes them really good, and they're really focusing on it. And Jesse Winker even said that in the post game yesterday, saying we're playing our brand of baseball, and some people may not think that that's the right thing to do, but it's working for us.
No, it's great. It's great. And what's crazy is you take a look back in the 2021 season, and prior to yesterday's sweep of the Nationals, we had the same record at this point in the season last year, but it felt so much different because of our run differential. I mean, I can't remember the number of our run differential from last year to now, but it was
negative last year.
I mean, we ended the season negative, and we still had 90 wins.
Right.
So taking a look at where we're at now, I think the majority of the credit, which is kind of unsung these days, is our starting pitching. I mean, just lights out. We had a streak of 20-something games, giving up less than 3 earned runs over 6 innings for each of them. I mean, Robbie's really putting it together. He developed a 2-seam fastball.
Which has been wicked.
That's been coming alive.
And for him to do that in the middle of the season at this level is pretty bonkers. And I've talked with a couple, like with Jordan and everything, and just like what that takes to really make that sort of change mid-season, and have the confidence to do it. And
totally,
because a lot of these guys, they may try something, but they don't have the confidence to throw it. And he's throwing it like half the time. He's throwing it a lot, and it's really, really working for him and causing a lot of problems for opposing batters.
Yeah, absolutely.
But he's becoming the ace that we signed him to be.
Correct. Yeah, he is not as big of a flop as we anticipated. And man, if he would have been pitching like this at the beginning of the year, I mean, he'd be in the talk of the Cy Young. And you take a look at him. You take a look at Logan Gilbert, who you can call him an All-Star game snub. I probably wouldn't go that far.
Borderline for sure.
Borderline.
You can make that argument.
Not as big of a snub as Ty Francis. We'll get to that here shortly, but. Then you take a look at Marco Gonzalez, just pitching lights out, right? Nothing sexy, but the guy just gets it done. Chris Flexen finally getting some run support. He's won 3 straight starts after having the average score that the opponent puts up on him. I mean, gosh, I think his ERA it's like hovering like around 3, but Mariners could never put up any type of offense when he took the mound, and he's been pitching lights out, and George Kirby's been a great surprise. Matt Brash out of the bullpen. I mean, we're really humming at the right time.
Yeah, no, we really are. I mean, we're humming without some of our major run producers. We did it without Ty France, with his elbow injury. We've done it without Mitch Haniger almost the entire season. Mitch has played a very small handful of games with his 2 injuries that have or COVID, I think was the first thing.
And then the high ankle sprain?
Yeah,
right?
On his first at bat back, which was super large bummer. And we can see what those injuries do for NFL players. So it's not just like a basic ankle sprain. Without Kyle Lewis, who also just bad luck. Both of these guys, bad luck, but specifically with Kyle Lewis, came back, looked really healthy, and then gets hit in the head with a baseball. I mean, it's just really frustrating because he's a guy who really hasn't gotten a chance to show off for a full season. And I think his only full season was the shortened COVID year, where he played very, very well.
And won Rookie of the Year.
Won Rookie of the Year. But he's looking really good in the minors. So is Jared Kelenic. Jared Kelenic is looking really good in the minors, kind of cutting back on that strikeout rate. He was the minor league player of the week last week. So, I mean, there's a lot of guys who were expected to be a very large part of this lineup who haven't done anything due to injury, due to underperforming, like Jesse Winker and Adam Frazier, both of whom aren't, as of a couple weeks ago, not really doing anything. But both of those guys have really turned it on. Winker had 2 home runs, one in each game yesterday. Frazier had a multi-hit game in both games yesterday. I think he's batting over 300 over the last week. I think Winker, before his suspension, was batting right around the 300 mark with really impressive slugging. He needs to continue to get on base. Really good eye with the strike zone. But that move for Carlos Santana through all of this, when I first saw it, of course, we lost our boy Wyatt Mills, former Gonzaga Prep and Gonzaga Bulldog stud, had to be traded to the Royals.
Yep. And you can't forget all the way back to his grade school days of being at St. Aloysius, Gonzaga, then a G Prep, and then a GU. So, yeah, I know it certainly was bummed to see the news about Wyatt getting traded. But, I mean, to be fair, I mean, at least in that series against the Jays, hitting 3 knocks and a walk-off. I mean,
single-handedly winning 2 of those games.
Absolutely.
With the walk-off and then the go-ahead homer as well.
Yeah, and what a pleasant series that was. Sweeping the Blue Jays, who come in and kick our ass and have
and laugh in our face with all their fans.
Laugh in our face. All the Canucks coming down from Canada and overruling T-Mobile Park. So it was a pleasant surprise to see us get them out of town with the broom.
It was. Let's go back real quick to Wyatt. So going back to a few weeks, or actually a couple months now at this point, I think the last time we saw everyone was before we went to Boston. And that's when we actually ran into Wyatt Mills and hung out with him, and he bought us a round of drinks. And because he had just, of course, been sent down to AAA that Friday, because the Thursday game he pitched in. Got sent down on Friday, and we hung out with him that Friday night. Really, I mean, just a really good guy. Actually, he's already pitching for the Royals at the MLB level, so that's nice to see. But it does suck not having him around. I know our buddy Gianni, who's watching right now, misses him. He says, "Bring back Greg Mills."
Yeah, absolutely. And what's crazy about that whole thing, and I don't know if it was the old fashions talking, but I could have sworn when we were chatting with him at that bar in Boston on that Friday night, I was like, man, I mean, so is it a goal? Like, would you love to stay in Seattle forever? You know, what does that look like? And he's like, man, I'd love to. I love Seattle. Ideally, if you could stay in one place forever, that'd be great, and let alone in my home state. But who knows? I could be traded to Kansas City tomorrow. Like, again, I don't know if I was stewed. I don't know what's going on, but I'm almost positive he said I could get traded to Kansas City, and then ultimately it ended up happening.
Yeah, see, I don't remember it quite that way. I remember him saying something like, and this could be a completely separate conversation, but I remember asking him, like, what are some of your favorite places to pitch? He said, Fenway was awesome in history. I thought he said Kauffman was also a really fun place to pitch, but I don't know why. Kauffman being the home of the Kansas City Royals. I don't know why you would want to pitch there. There's nothing special about it. But no. He's in Kansas City now, and we have Carlos Santana, who also has had a screaming hot end of June and start of July, and we made that move for him, and he's been very key during that Ty France injury, and we're getting some more guys back. Haniger and Kyle Lewis should be back after the All-Star break, and I'm fine with Kelenic just sitting down in AAA.
I agree.
Keeping his confidence up. I mean, he only had a few dozen at-bats in the minors with the Mariners before he got called up to the bigs because of the COVID seasons. Yeah. And I think that just more time down there is exactly what he needs to be able to kind of find his spot.
He needs to stay in timeout. He should not come up until the rosters expand later this year.
Yeah, I can see that.
That's my opinion. Again, because if he comes up for the third time and struggles again,
that's bad.
He's trade bait. They're already talking about him potentially being a trade option, since there's talk out there that he and Julio Rodriguez might not be able to exist in the same outfield. I mean, those are two polar opposite personalities.
They're polar opposite, but at least with the same final destination of those personalities, right? Like, they both are so passionate.
Julio's going to get there a lot quicker than Kelenic, but
Well, it helps that, yeah, I mean, Julio's been an absolute stud. I mean, way ahead in potential Rookie of the Year voting right now. And, I mean, why not? He's batting 280 with 14 home runs, 13 home runs, something like that.
Yeah.
20 stolen bases. I mean, he's on pace to have a season that a guy in his prime would be thrilled to have that potential. And he's already doing it. So, so speaking of Julio, he's our only All-Star game representation. He actually was one of the last guys who was put into the All-Star game. Every team gets a player, so there had to be somebody. He was actually announced during the game, and he was able to celebrate during the game with the fans. That was pretty cool. But some of the guys you didn't make, you mentioned Logan Gilbert, you mentioned Ty France. Ty France being probably, you mentioned Logan Gilbert not being as big of a snub. Right. Ty France probably, you could very much argue, the biggest snub of the All-Star game. And Mike Salk of the Mike Salk Show brought up a good point. At the All-Star voting should also kind of look back on what you did in the second half of last year. There's nothing that gauges your performance on the second half of a season. I guess being an All-Pro does.
Interesting. I haven't really thought about it.
But it does kind of bring up this interesting thought. Like Ty France over the last 162 games, you go the second half of last season, the first half of this season, has been an absolute stud. And he's been, just this first half alone, been the best first baseman in arguably the American League. Better than Vlad and better than that other guy who they called in, that guy who's played only 40% of his games at first base. The rest have been at second base. So it's really unfortunate for a guy like that. It's the Mariner effect. Would you rather have Ty France or JD Martinez? Which guy do you recognize more? Everyone else is going to say JD Martinez. MLB would rather have it. I just think that the Mariners, they've been so mediocre for the last 2 decades that no one really cares about them.
Fine.
And you see it. And that happens for the Seahawks. It happens for the Zags. It happens for the Sound. It literally happens for because we are so geographically tucked up here that we just don't have anybody. No one cares about the Kraken. I know they're an expansion team, but again, they're not the teams that people talk about on a regular basis, even if they're playing well.
Yeah, the East Coast bias, you can't really escape it. When you think about it, it's actually kind of like the political spectrum. I mean, a lot of the attention gets put on New York, California, same thing in sports. So, again, the hope is that we can take that negative energy of him not making the All-Star game, and he just crushes it and goes on a tear in the second half.
You'd love to see it because he's floundered a bit since he's come back, and it's tough with the elbow injury not having the consistency of playing every single day. But nice to have him back. Trade deadline happens here in a few weeks. The Mariners need to make a move.
I think we got to get another starting pitcher. The fact that we haven't had an injury up to this point and have been able to throw out those 5 starters consistently, it is nothing like what we had to experience last year with bullpen start after bullpen start and Scott Service throwing stuff together, who should have been AL Manager of the Year last year, but that's beside the point.
Right, another thing where just Seattle isn't looked upon.
Right.
I mean, John Schneider never won Executive of the Year when he drafted he probably drafted almost 5 Hall of Famers in a 2-year span, and he didn't even
in later rounds.
Right, and found these diamonds in the rough, but then also hit on the early round picks with Russell Okung and Earl Thomas, but then hitting on the Richard Sherman and Cam Chancellors and Russell Wilson's. I mean,
and then LJ Collier
and James Carpenter. I mean, you win some, you lose some.
You do. That's the theme of today's show. You win some, you lose some.
But yeah, I think the Mariners could use a starting pitcher. I don't want them to get another field player. I think Adam Frazier is going to turn it around. He's consistently shown over the last 2-ish years that he's a better player than this. His batting average of balls in play is .220, which is just brutally low. Looks like he's turning it around. He's also the kind of guy who doesn't rely on anything other than his contact, and he's still making that contact. He's just not finding the holes like he's been accustomed to over the last 2 years. So I don't think they need a second baseman. They don't need a first baseman. They don't need a third baseman. They don't need shortstop. They definitely don't need any outfielders with Kyle Lewis and Mitch Haniger coming back. I mean, catcher, but Cal Raleigh has been just a revelation at the plate. His defense has always been good. His control of the pitching staff has always been good, but that offense has been borderline unplayable, to the point where, Mike Zunino's offense was unplayable, and he was the best defensive catcher in baseball. And so if you look at what Cal had to do to get to this point, the Mariners have only lost 1 game in their history when Cal Raleigh hits a home run. I think they're 15-1 when he hits home runs.
It's pretty crazy. I was one of Cal Raleigh's biggest critics early on in the season. And rightfully so.
Yeah.
I think I was heard saying something along the lines of I'd rather have the pitchers pitch to the backstop if it meant Cal Raleigh wouldn't have to play. But, man, you got to give him credit. He has really turned it around. 12 homers on the season now. Average is starting to trend upward as well. So it's all looking good. And if I had to guess, I think it's because the boys in Boston kind of was heckling what we believe is the Cal Raleigh family. Who walks around Boston?
That's right.
12 people that all have Cal Raleigh
jerseys. Not more.
Jerseys
There may
on.
have been like almost 20. I mean, there were a lot of people. They all had Cal jerseys on.
It was quite an entourage.
We were in the cemetery where Ben Franklin was buried.
Ah, yes, that's right.
And we're literally standing there and we're looking, and there's this group of Mariners fans. You could see their jerseys. And then they walk by, and then Raleigh. And then we're like, go Cal, go Mariners.
And they just big leagued us.
And
didn't even turn around.
Yeah, they were like not interested. And
it's like, really, your son sucks ass right now.
Yeah, not good.
But again, he's picked it up.
AJ said that we were berating his family, that it was sad.
Okay, I don't know if that's accurate. That's a little
maybe
excessive.
They thought we were being sarcastic. I liked Cal. I always felt bad for the guy. He always looks like he's about to cry.
That is accurate.
His face just looks like that. All right, McWhippy here. He's upset that we haven't responded yet. He said, "Hey guys, how are you? Where is the Gingy?" And he said, "Can't stop looking into the deep abyss of that forehead." I don't know who this guy is.
Wait, was that McWhippy or was that Gianni?
No, Gianni said, "Can the guy with the big dome read yet?"
Oh my gosh!
As usual.
How do we disable chat?
It's been months since you guys have had a show. Just get absolutely roasted.
That's fair. That's fine.
We'll take it this time.
It's all good.
I don't know why. I don't know who this guy is, but it's very funny. I always like having him here. Has to be someone we know. It has to be. I just don't know who it is.
Anyhow, enough of my forehead. Back to just the Mariners, and then we'll move on to other things. Do you, Justin Reed,
that's me,
believe that the Mariners will snap their playoffless streak of over 20 years in 2022?
I picked the Mariners to win the pennant. That's not going to happen. Well, it could happen. It could happen.
What do you mean you picked them to win?
I picked them that they would win the pennant.
Like you put a bet on it?
Yeah, down in Vegas in November.
Okay, so as a joke.
Hey,
how much did you put on it?
I think like $20. But the odds.
Soft.
I'd make like $500. The odds were horrible.
No kidding.
Yeah. So I am feeling very good and confident. I'm a little worried of the starting pitching depth.
Right.
But not to the point where I don't think they won't make the playoffs. I feel very confident in them making the playoffs.
So yes or no? Answer the question. I agree.
So I was texting McGowan yesterday about Suarez's home run. He said they're going to make the playoffs. And then he said, M's are so hot. And then I said Winker after Winker's home run. And then he said, again, this team is making the playoffs as a legit contender.
That's what he said?
Legit contender. And I don't not buy that because they have the stuff that plays in October. They have the pitching.
Yeah, for now.
And the bullpen.
For now.
Yeah, you're right.
The playoffs for next week, yeah, I'd pick them to win the World Series, but that's just not how it works. I think that they are going to make the playoffs. Thank God for that third wild card spot that just got added this year.
That helps a lot.
Big time. I think they're going to sneak in the wild card.
I hope we get the second wild card. I would feel not super. It was kind of like during the COVID year when they expanded it. And the Mariners were really close to making. I was like, I don't really want to make it during the COVID year. I would like to see them hit that second wild card spot because that's been a thing for a couple decades.
Yeah.
The third one being brand new, I think people could make fun of us. So I would really love that second wild card spot. Gianni also said that, or they might miss the playoffs by 5 games or less. We have seen that a time or two. We saw it last year. We were there. That happens.
True. I think this team has
built
enough
different.
offensive depth where I think we're going to be okay. But I think we got to add a starting pitcher at the break, or before the trade deadline, I should say. So we'll see.
Yep, we'll see.
We got a few weeks till then.
We have a few weeks, and we also have a few weeks until Seahawks training camp. Like 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Wow.
Yeah. It's like we're Seahawks fans. Yes, 2 weeks, and Geno Smith and Drew Lock are still the quarterbacks.
Oh man, I sat here. I think the first show that I was ever a part of. And I was like, there's no way they're going to start Drew Lock or Geno Smith.
Yeah, you're the Russell Wilson box. Wilson had just been traded.
Yep.
The Wheaties box.
Yes, yeah, the Wheaties box was right here.
Yep.
I still need to send that to my friend over Montana,
yep.
who's a Broncos fan. I was really disappointed when they didn't get Baker Mayfield. And I think for the price that you saw Carolina snatch him for, I feel like it's probably something we should have done.
5th-round draft pick.
Well, yeah.
Conditional.
Conditional, depending on how many games he starts.
Right. And $8 million?
No.
Well,
No.
Or 5. Because
Five.
he ate, because that's right. Because Cleveland ate some, and then
Browns
Baker
ate 10,
just,
he ate 3.
Yeah, he just said, I don't need 3.
Yeah.
Yes, I think the discussion's more. I think the discussion's deeper than just saying they should have or they shouldn't have. Because, heck, maybe he didn't want to come here. He may not have wanted to come here.
True.
The money may not have worked out properly. I mean, there's a few reasons why that it couldn't have worked. They may just not have wanted him either. They may just said not interested because of they didn't think that he could elevate them to a point that made sense for their long-term viability. Pete Carroll is 70. But he's also a young 70. That guy could coach another 6 years if he wanted to. I think.
I get that. But if you look at the identity of Pete Carroll, compete every day until you're blue in the face.
Yep.
This current roster construction, especially at the quarterback position, which is, again, the most important position in all of sports, no duh, how could you go into the season and give confidence in that locker room that, yeah, we're going to go win some ball games with either Drew or Geno? I just don't get it. And let me ask you this. Do you think that Baker Mayfield is worth 3 more wins than Drew or Geno?
I think Baker? Did you say Baker or Jimmy G?
Baker. We're not to Jimmy G yet. There's still hope we can have a legitimate starting quarterback, and it's Jimmy G, but we'll get there.
3 more wins. So essentially, if we would say the Seahawks go 5-12,
okay,
right now, is that worse?
Well,
do you think a little bit better?
The line in Vegas is 5.
Okay, so let's say 5. 5 wins. Do I think that Baker could have gotten us to 8? Yeah.
Right. So,
but I also think the Seahawks will win more than 5 games.
Can I finish my question?
Yeah.
Okay. Is giving up a 4th or 5th round pick worth 3 more wins in one season, where you're trying to rebuild and determine whether or not a quarterback like Baker Mayfield still has it left in the tank, a number 1 overall pick, who has historically shown that he's significantly better than Drew Lock or Geno Smith? Is 3 more wins worth a 4th or 5th round draft pick? Yes or no? I don't want an explanation.
Well, there's an explanation.
No. I don't want an explanation. Yes or no?
In a very in a vacuum, yes.
Okay, perfect. Then we should have done it.
But there's a lot that goes into it. You can't just say, hey, we can either win 5 games or we can win 8. AJ thinks that it's more than 3 wins, by the way, that he would have helped increase, which is maybe potentially,
maybe.
But
3 I feel like is a fair number.
Let's say 4.
I'm trying to be conservative with it,
and
you still said yes.
Because the issue is it really worth to go 8-9?
Is what worth? A 4th round pick is $5 million?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then and then have the pick number 16 in the draft.
Okay, but if you look at next year's draft, there are not a bunch of studs.
There's 3 top quarterbacks.
There's 3 good quarterbacks. This is not Trevor Lawrence.
Colin Coward.
This is not Andrew Luck.
Coward said that, but Brock Heward said that they're great. Who do you trust more?
But again, there's no guarantee. What if one of those guys busts his ACL?
There's no guarantee with Baker Mayfield.
I like his chances a whole hell of a lot better than us trying to pray and get some guy in the draft next year and hoping he's going to pan out.
We did the exact same thing. We ran out Tavares Jackson for a season. We cut Matt Hasselbeck.
Okay, great.
Why can't we do it again? It worked the last time.
Because I believe the current construction of the Seahawks roster is good enough to be a 500 team right now with a decent quarterback.
I think you could say the exact same thing back in 2011.
With Tavares Jackson.
I think
you're comparing Tavares Jackson to Baker Mayfield.
No, I'm comparing Tavares Jackson to Geno Smith and Drew Lock, in saying that there probably were people available that the Seahawks could have gone out and got that would have made a difference, and they decided not to, and they waited. They got Matt Flynn that next offseason before they drafted Russell Wilson.
I know.
And Matt Flynn didn't work out, obviously.
Well, no kidding. Well, it worked out pretty well.
Worked out really well for us.
Yeah. Man, I don't know, but you answered it. You answered it. My question was, is it worth a 4th or a 5th round pick? You said yes.
In Pete and John, I trust.
Okay. I do too. But The other thing that's really frustrating about this whole thing is that if it was like, yeah, Drew Lock's looked really good in camp, he's our guy, I'd feel way better about this right now. But the fact that it's still Drew or Geno, it's a package deal. I do not want Geno Smith starting.
Because in minicamp, you can't really figure that out. There's no pads. There's no hitting. Training camps where you'll really figure out what's going to go down here.
Well, but there are reports in the OTAs that Geno was getting all the first-string stats, first-string snaps.
If 2 weeks into training camp that's still the case, then you could be a little worried. But
all right.
but the whole team has really defended Drew Lock, though. Like Metcalf has come out multiple times defending him. If Metcalf trusts him, this is a guy who is riding his career on what could really happen in these next couple of years in Seattle, because he's going to re-sign during training camp. It's going to happen. Okay. Yeah, I'm not worried about him not signing an extension. If he is banking on that, I trust it. I trust what's going on.
Okay.
Gianni said that Pete Carroll should be in a home. He is holding us back.
I don't buy that argument.
I don't think he's holding us back either, especially
most wins between 2010 and 2020 out of all the NFL. It was not just Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
It was Pete Carroll and Russell Wilson.
Yep.
And his philosophy.
And I also think you can see what Pete Carroll is doing or has done this offseason as far as tweaking his scheme. Still fits under his philosophy of being a run team, taking care of the football, and having an aggressive defense. But it's gone to the next level. I mean, he said their defense is as fast as he's ever had. I think our running back situation is really good, even without Chris Carson. That's really a shame. I don't think he's coming back. Right. But even with, you're seeing people say Ken Walker's Rookie of the Year has Rookie of the Year potential.
I mean, that's a pretty big deal.
So that's nice. AJ said that with him, with Baker, I'm guessing, with him they would be 4-13. Okay. So one wins. Seattle's going to go 1-16. With Drew Lock or Geno Smith. Gianni said Baker isn't a long-term solution anyway, though he's better than a Band-Aid fix, but I don't think he's a franchise quarterback. Bring back Matt Flynn.
But you got to look at Baker Mayfield, dude. He had 4 head coaches in the 5 years he's been in the league. Turns out you're probably not going to have much success, whether it's professional, whether it's in your job or whether it's in sports. If you have 4 different owners or bosses, you're probably not going to have much success.
How many wins does Carolina have?
How many do I think that they're going to have? Mm-hmm. I think they have a significantly worse roster than Seattle does.
No, for sure. But how many wins? I'm just curious.
I bet they have 6.
So you think they would have won you think they would have been 3 and 14?
3 or 4, yeah.
Okay, we'll see.
We'll see. I don't know.
We'll see. It'll be interesting.
Very excited for Seahawks football, though.
Still
it's
excited.
Almost that time of year.
Still, 2 weeks away from everything, and yeah, pretty excited about that for sure. So Jimmy G, yay or nay?
Depends on what it costs.
3rd round draft pick.
Yes.
Really? You'd give
us
3rd? Oh, man.
Dude, okay.
2nd.
Okay, but you cannot sit here and tell me draft picks mean a whole lot. Look at what the Rams have done. And again, I'm not comparing Garoppolo to Matt Stafford.
That's a fair point.
Literally, draft picks, who cares? We have so many of them from that Russell Wilson trade. I think we can give up a 3rd round pick for a quarterback that's been to a Super Bowl and dang near a 2nd.
And yeah, 3 and
is a great locker room guy. Again, he's battle proven. I'm just getting real frustrated with the idea that Drew Lock or Geno Smith could be our quarterback.
Drew Lock seems like a nice guy.
I'm not arguing that.
And Geno Smith obviously likes to have a good time.
Hence the Dewey.
That happens. Happens to the best. You win some, you lose.
That's right. Again, I would say yeah. I'm all on board the Jimmy G train.
2nd round pick. We have 2 of them.
Oh boy.
Colin Cowherd said that's what it'll take.
To
trade to a division rival, it would take a 2nd round.
I'd say yes. Yeah, 2nd round pick, absolutely. Again, Russell Wilson last year. Again, I know he was injured for 4 games? Was it 4 games?
Well, he was out 4 games, but he was probably hurt for 8 total.
Right. They weren't playing very well with Russell Wilson to begin with, right? Because there was this constant grudge match with Carroll and his philosophy versus Russ wanting to cook. I think now that Carroll and the Seahawks organization has established that we're going forward with Pete Carroll's identity, Jimmy G fits right into that identity. Play good defense, run the ball, throw, check down when you need to, and take care of it. To be fair, Jimmy G's had a little bit of bad turnover issues at the wrong time, but I think
it gets a little rattled.
But you get Tyler Lockett and you get DK Metcalf,
Noah
Fant, and a fantastic running back room, along with a growing, improving offensive line. I think Jimmy G makes you I think he makes you a playoff contender. That does not mean a Super Bowl contender, but I think we have a chance at a wild card if we had Jimmy G.
He also has never had the sort of weapons in San Francisco that he would have in Seattle.
Yeah, Debo Smith, and that's about it.
Well, Debo Samuel, but yeah.
Or excuse me, Debo Samuel. Sorry, Debo Smith. I was thinking of
Devonta Smith.
No, Devonta Smith's with.
Yeah, I know, with the Eagles.
Yeah, no, I was thinking of somebody else. But I guess and George Kittle, but George misses all the games anyway.
Yeah, but you look at what Garoppolo has done with Kittle and taken him to the next level, and Fant is very much a very similar kind of guy as far as attacking the seams.
Yeah. More athletic than George Kittle.
Yes, less of a blocker, but yeah, more athletic, more speed. Probably a better pure catcher than Kittle, and less of a crackhead-looking guy too.
Okay, so do you do Jimmy G for a second-round pick?
See, I've been going back and forth because I really have thought about Jimmy Garoppolo and what he did in San Fran with his weapons, as I was just mentioning, and Kittle and everything, and what he could bring to Seattle.
Right. It's a sad
Niners have always, God, it's so hard to want to bring on a guy who is currently playing for your heated rival. Have we ever done that before at this level? I mean, quarterback's a quarterback. You know, we've never done that. But have we brought on a guy who's been a very big contributor from a rival?
I can't go back in the history books and determine that at this point. But what I will say is we owned Jimmy G. Like, we owned the Niners when Jimmy G was the quarterback.
Right. I would love for them to release him, and then we can pay him whatever we want.
I would agree with that. Yeah, if
that would be preferred.
If they cut him, that'd be great. That'd be great.
The shoulder's a little worrisome. It is his non-throwing shoulder, which is nice. It's been done before, and he's not a guy who needs his it's not like he scrambles and can get hit and get hurt again.
Right.
God, a second.
So
I don't think I would.
No.
I don't think I would do it for a second.
Okay.
I would do it for like maybe a third. Definitely a fourth.
Why are you holding so much value in draft picks?
I just don't because I think Garoppolo is a rental. I think Garoppolo would be more of a rental, and I don't.
So we're gonna go get like a decent quarterback or cornerback in the second or third round. Oh man, I wish we really had that.
We got Bobby Wagner in the second round.
I really wish we had that cornerback.
We got Bobby, but in the second, Hall of Famer.
Okay, and we got Richard Sherman in the fifth. Okay.
We did.
Whatever. Again, I think that with the quarterback position in sports the way it is, you got to have somebody who's viable and who can actually produce and actually give you a chance and give you some hope.
Jimmy G or Baker, no cost. Just pick one off the surface. All you would like to know.
Are we taking into consideration Jimmy G's shoulder? Well, I guess they both have shoulder injuries.
Yeah.
I'd say Baker.
It's close because I think Garoppolo fits Seattle's scheme a little bit more with what they want to do. But to be fair, Baker played for a Cleveland team that was number one in rushing last year, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes. Well, and here's the thing. The reason I say that is I think Baker Mayfield has more upside than Jimmy G does. Like, we know what Jimmy G is. He's at his ceiling. He's going to do what he's going to do. But Baker, I still think, has a lot more to prove. But again, there's nothing we can do about it because he's with Carolina. So.
Exactly. Adrian said going into the season with Smith or Locke is basically telling your guys they don't care about winning this year. If you get Baker or Jimmy G, the message you are sending your team is that you want to compete.
Thank you. Spot on. That was AJ?
Yeah.
Well, Bears fans kind of surprised me. He's actually kind of smart. That was a good take. Thank you, AJ. I agree. 100%.
I don't buy that. I think Seattle's philosophy and their culture overwhelms any of that. Like, you wouldn't have DK Metcalf coming and defending Drew Lock twice, 3 times, if he didn't like the guy and didn't have a good feeling about him. So I get it. I just don't know if that is the case in Seattle. I think that's the case somewhere else, but I don't know if that happens.
We'll see. We'll definitely be talking more Hawks, Hawk talk here as we get closer into training camp. For sure.
I was gonna say I have a list here of potential MVP candidates. We're gonna just rapid fire. You're going to say yes or no. This is ESPN's list. This was Bill Barnwell.
Okay.
Yes or no on if they're actual an MVP candidate. Rodgers.
Yeah.
Matt Ryan with the Colts. Jalen Hurts.
What? No.
Trey Lance.
Now, what list is this? What are you talking
essentially,
about?
What he's trying to do, so the best odds to win NFL MVP are Josh Allen, Mahomes, Brady, Rodgers, Herbert, Burrow, Wilson, Dak. So he's kind of like, so for instance, he's comping Trey Lance with Patrick Mahomes in 2018. Taking the year off. Or Jalen Hurts is Lamar Jackson in 2019. Very similar.
Yeah, but all those other guys are ahead of him. So I don't know. Maybe I'm not the guy to ask. No.
Stafford.
Yes.
Really? You put Brady above Stafford?
Stafford above Brady, you mean?
Yes.
Yes.
Interesting. Wilson.
Nope.
I don't think so either. I
want him to fail so bad.
I
so
also
bad.
would love to see him.
I don't want him to get hurt, but
I don't either. I would love to see him fall flat on his face.
Oh, my gosh. And from what talks around Denver is that people are not loving off-season Russ.
Weird.
Yeah, weird. And again,
I'll defend Russ till the day I die in that regard, but it's when you're on the – as far as when he was a Seahawk, now when he's on another team,
he's pretty Hollywood, and it got pretty old at the end.
It's getting bad. It's getting worse, to be fair.
Oh, yeah.
Derrick Henry.
No.
I don't think any non-quarterback will ever win the MVP moving forward.
I agree.
See, like Nick Chubb. I think Herbert,
yeah.
Aaron Donald. He'd be the most likely non-quarterback. I think he has a better chance than a running back does.
I agree. I agree with that for sure.
And then this one at the end was just kind of funny. I didn't realize this. He's put Justin Tucker. I guess a kicker won MVP in the strike-shortened 1982 season.
Wow.
Yeah. Pretty interesting stuff.
No, I don't think Justin Tucker's going to win. Great for my fantasy football team, though, in recent
monster.
years.
AJ said Bears fans are reasonable, unlike Hawks fans, a.k.a. Reed. Gianni said DK is obligated to say that the same way Tyreek Hill is obligated to say Tua is more accurate than Mahomes. And then Gianni said, Bronco Nation, let's ride.
Let's ride.
That was bad. That was a bad video.
So corny, dude.
That was not good at all.
Gosh.
And real quick, one current Seahawk you'd like to spend the day with?
One current Seahawk I'd like to spend the day with. Wow. Man, I've never thought about that before. I would probably say, oh my gosh, that is brutal. I've never. Nick Bellore. Nick Bellore, our fullback and special teams guy.
No, it's not.
He looks like he seems like a great dude.
He is completely.
Probably DK Metcalf. That dude seems like he knows how to have a good time.
I think that'd be a lot of fun. DK's up there for sure. I think Cody Barton would be fun. He seems like a guy like you would like to go shoot guns with or something.
Yeah.
I think Jamal Adams.
Would know how to have fun. Would be a good time.
Would know how to have a good time. I think if you wanted to have a really good sit down discussion about life and just like a nice relaxing day, like Tyler Lockett.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah, go Hawks, man.
You and him get along really well. Wouldn't be able to talk about
because of our hairlines. Yeah, very funny. Yeah,
that
one was coming.
Yeah, I thought that was.
What are you guys gonna do when I shave it one day?
Well, it's gonna be awesome. you and Mackie could become.
Oh, here comes Sam.
I'll have to turn down the lights.
Oh, come on.
That's unfortunate.
Okay, that's actually really funny though. That was
AJ. Also
damn, that was quick. That was really good.
AJ also said Tyler Lockett.
Tyler Lockett. Yeah,
I think that'd be a good one.
I don't know.
All right. Also, real quick, DirecTV's losing NFL Sunday Ticket. Guess how much Apple is going to pay a year to have NFL Sunday Ticket? Rumored that they're going to get it, by the way, for this cost.
Probably $1 billion or
$3 a year.
To the NFL?
Yeah, for NFL Sunday Ticket. $3 billion a year.
Thoughts on them getting it if they get it, though?
I never bought. My parents had Sunday Ticket because we threatened to cancel DirecTV, and they're like, "Oh, we'll cut your bill." And my dad's like, "I want Sunday Ticket," and so they gave us Sunday Tickets. We had it for a couple of years. Awesome, I loved it. Getting Red Zone was awesome. I don't think I will ever pay for it now, so I don't mind. But I hate Apple. I just don't like. Yeah, I just don't like it. They have Ted Lasso. That's cool, I guess.
Do you think they see a drop in users if Apple gets
as of 10 years ago for sure? Recently, I'm not sure with all the cable, with all the cord cutters.
True,
maybe not. But 10 years ago, definitely. But $3 billion. I mean, NFL would go anywhere for that. They don't even care.
You would think that they would start their just put it out on their own though, on their own streaming service.
No, I don't think so. I don't think it's worth it to them because they can make $3 billion for doing the exact same thing they've always been doing. Wild stuff. All right. What are we at for time here? I think we're okay. Yeah, we're fine. We're only at 20 or 30. Let's talk about that interesting Saudi Arabian golf league, Live.
Live.
So you're the golf guy. You're probably the biggest golf guy I know.
Yeah.
People that I associate with. So you have your favorite. Who's your favorite golfer?
Is somebody commenting or what?
Yeah, Gianni, I think.
Oh gosh, what'd he say?
Oh, he once peed in my school. Peed in my pool. My parents' pool. That's pretty funny. Probably because I was mentioning my parents and Sunday tickets. So then
is Diane watching?
She'll probably watch at some point.
Diane, if you're out there, can you please tune or chime in?
My dad probably watches at some point. He knows, but he doesn't like it.
That's awesome.
Because it just takes the pool's always regulated chemically, so it's fine. Anyone else who's been in there. Yeah,
that is very random. What was the question?
Favorite golfer right now?
Oh. Honestly, I really did like Brooks Koepka.
Interesting.
For a while, like 4 years ago. And again, I really like Dustin Johnson too. Turns out, again, both of those guys both went to Live, so I'm somewhat against the Live tour. You can't blame people for going. Like, right. I know it's dirty money. I know what the Saudis do. Like, I get it. But at the end of the day, if you're in their shoes,
you would take
and
it.
You're getting guaranteed money to go play golf.
You could be last place.
You probably do it.
And if you say no, you're lying.
Right.
Everyone would do it. Everyone would do it.
100%.
I think the golfers who aren't going are just really relying on tradition and understanding that it's the Saudi aspect of it for sure is probably a large portion of it as well. And that part I do understand because they are pretty heinous over there. But again, you can't fault the people who are still doing it and still going over there. So who is your favorite then right now?
Yeah, I agree. Honestly, I would say like watching Scotty Scheffler golf. I know it's a popular pick because he's literally the number one golfer in the world right now. He's just a young kid, and I like it. He's not super over the top. He's not very pompous. If I had to go more so like with a veteran, I'd probably say Rory McIlroy. And it's been really cool to see his emergence of late. I mean, for the last 5 years, he's really not shown up. No. And he's been cut a lot on Saturdays. And so, it'll be interesting to see what happens here with the Open too. Give everybody an update. The leading score through the first round, Cameron Young is 8 under. Rory McIlroy 6 under. Wow. Cam Smith is another guy, the Aussie.
Yeah.
The dude with the mullet and the stash, that guy.
Everyone knows what he looks like. Yeah.
That guy just gets it. He's been really fun to watch, but yeah. What are you laughing at? Oh yeah, Cam Smith. I know. Yeah, it kind of looks like a rat a little bit.
He looks like trash. He looks like white trash. Oh my God, look at before's hair. That's even worse.
That is pretty bad. And
his new hair hides his
we're
ears.
People to talk about others' looks. Anyhow, the Live Golf Tour, again, totally understand why somebody would go and do it. I think, again, anybody out there would be lying if they said they wouldn't.
Is it going to ruin
the PGA?
Yeah.
That's a really, really good question. I think the PGA, especially with how many popular names are still in the PGA, I think that they're going to be okay, but I think this is going to definitely force them to kind of change course, give more guaranteed money to folks that don't even make the cut. And again, what it all comes down to, and again, we're going to get into this later, but it all comes down to money. That's literally all anything, honestly, in life is about, unfortunately, when it comes to, especially to professional sports. Whoever's going to have the biggest check to write, it's probably what that person's going to go do. So I don't think it's bad. I think it's going to challenge the PGA, and I think that'll help them grow. The other thing also to consider, I have a buddy of mine who went down to Pumpkin Ridge there in Oregon for that Live tournament there at Pumpkin Ridge, and he was sending me updates throughout the weekend, and I guess it's just a party. It's like a music festival. So, like the PGA, if anybody's ever been to a PGA event, it's pretty tame, pretty mellow, not a whole lot of action going on after the rounds are over. Pretty quiet, yeah. But, man, I heard everything that he said. My buddy Brandon, he said that it is just an absolute riot, and they have a bunch of folks and a big concert. And it's really more of an event than a golf tournament. So that could be good. That could force the PGA to grow. So we'll see.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think Live Golf right now is only on YouTube, so it's not like they have any big media deals, and it's not that they need them. I saw, or someone, and maybe it was Salk even. I guess the group that backs Live Golf makes $1 billion a day.
What?
Yeah.
$1 billion a day?
Yeah.
Holy mackerel!
And it's a group, so it's not just like one person. It's like this fund that is a bunch of Saudis. Makes like $1 billion a day.
Well, you know what's interesting? What the heck happens if this continues with other sports? I mean, you don't actually think that there's a likelihood that like the Saudis or again whatever other big organization out there can come in and take over college football and pay players a whole hell of a lot more money to go play in their league or the MLB or NBA? Like, do you think it could get to that point? Because, again, at the end of the day, it's about money.
They poke around for sure. So this has to be successful first. Let's make that clear. If this isn't successful, It all goes away. Nothing matters. But they tried to do this in soccer. They had the Super League last year for the Premier League, for Spain and Italy. They had the biggest teams in all of Europe come together. There's 10 of them. There's going to be the Super League. And that folded because of tradition, because of fans. And I think golf's different because, first off, it's small compared to even MLB. It's small. So, like, they have the ability, and they're single players. It's not like you have to, with football, for instance, for each team, you have 55 guys you'd have to pay. With golf, you can get 30 guys and have a successful league and be just fine. So I think it works really well with golf. It works with its structure. It works with how the PGA has treated its players. I think that's kind of a soft way of putting it. But I think it's valid in how they, as you mentioned, how they get paid, I don't think their marketing is super good compared to some of the other big leagues as far as marketing their players. Baseball has a problem with it as well, because I think if you were to ask a person who watches sports recreationally, you ask them, hey, who's the biggest guy in the NFL? Who's the most popular guy? Who's the most popular guy in the NBA? You're going to say LeBron. You're going to say Mahomes. You're going to say Rodgers. You're going to say whoever. You ask that in baseball, and people are going to be like, Bryce
Harper? I remember he was big, way back when.
Right. Griffey? Like, MLB hasn't done a good job of marketing someone on a very high-end level since Griffey.
True.
Griffey completely changed baseball. And was the most popular athlete in America as a baseball player, and they haven't been able to replicate that since. And so I think that's where, like, you look at golf, you ask someone, hey, who's like the most popular golfer? Who's most Tiger Woods, but Tiger's been essentially a nobody for the last decade. He hasn't really done anything. He's won. He hasn't won that much.
I don't know about that.
Aside from his fooling around on his wife and crashing.
Oh my God.
That's been he's made the headlines more so, I think, for wrong. How much has he won in the last year? In the last 10 years.
Whenever Tiger Woods is teeing it up, people watch.
No. I'm not arguing that. I am saying you're looking at Tiger Woods, but he is not the most successful golfer. But people say that's who they point at as being like the most famous and popular. But he hasn't won like.
We won the Masters a few years ago.
You're right, but that's the only thing he's won in 10 years.
I'm not sitting here saying that you can't judge. Golf is so much different though. You can't judge somebody's resume based off of the recent history of how much they've won. Just people love Tiger because he's Tiger. Like, again, regardless if he's teeing up at the Farmers Open, people at the bar on the golf course, hey, how's Tiger doing? How's Tiger doing? What's going on with Tiger?
I 100% agree, but what I'm trying to say is they are not marketing their top guys. No one knows who Scotty Scheffler is outside of golf. People who
But you got to be into golf though.
But that's the argument I'm making. Is you don't have to be involved in the NFL to know that Patrick Mahomes is a star. You don't have to be involved with the NBA to know that LeBron is.
But that's, in my opinion, that's a sport issue, not a downfall of somebody propping up their players. Like the MLB, like it just, regardless of what you do, baseball is not nearly going to be as popular as the NFL
100%.
Or the NBA. But regardless of how much they prop up their players.
100%. But that's why I'm saying with golf, it's easier to do that because you can steal top-end people without anyone really caring.
Golf people care.
That's what I'm saying. But the rest of the country, if LeBron gets stolen from the NBA, again, he's still on the downturn, but you can still use him because he's won recently. If you take LeBron from the NBA, that's major news. Like, that is going everywhere, and everyone's going to talk about it. But with golf, it's only the golf people talking about it.
Okay. So what's your point?
So that's what I'm saying is I think golf is an easier target because they don't have the backing of a national audience like some of these big leagues do. They're so small in that regard.
Okay.
So that's why I'm saying it's more difficult then for these other leagues, I think, to be bought out like golfers have been.
Now, I can see your point. I know what you're saying.
So
the bigger the brand, the bigger the tradition, the bigger the backing,
exactly.
the harder it's going to be for them to infiltrate.
Right.
But
exactly.
again, if they got a blank
it's
checkbook,
dangerous. Exactly. It's dangerous still, and I think there's a potential there for it to happen. The NFL, I think, is completely safe. I think its roster size, $3 billion just for, and that's a media rights deal, so that can't be broken. They cannot afford to have that happen. I just don't think the NFL has that possibility. But MLS does. I think soccer does. Hockey. I think you could do that to the NHL all day long. And I also think you have to look at it as America is football. That's it. Football doesn't get played anywhere else. But the sports that get played around the globe are the sports that can happen to. So I don't think it'll happen with the major U.S. sports leagues, but it could, I guess. I just don't think it will. Money. Pac-12.
Pac-12.
That is now the Pac-10 again, and will be
in
smaller.
2024.
Right, and for a couple of years, and it could be even smaller by then. It could be gone by then once 2024 rolls around.
Yeah.
Big news there. It's the restructuring of college football. Again, comes down to money, and you can't fault these universities for jumping ship and chasing the money and staying ahead of the curve of something that's been happening now for the last decade, with again media rights deals and the amount of money that's being pumped into college athletics. It's been happening for a long time. Yeah, and USC and UCLA are just riding that wave rather than missing it, and they can afford to do that. WSU will never. They don't have enough money.
And those are the people that I feel bad for. Right. The Coug alums, the people, or the Oregon State alums, like all these people that pour a ton of their time, energy, and money into these programs to watch and support them. Those are the people I feel bad for because now all tradition is going down the toilet.
You are losing. Well,
now WSU, their biggest rival. Again, this is a very broad stroke here, but who knows? Maybe their biggest rival is going to be New Mexico State.
Well, no, because they'll still find time to play each other. Play UW.
I know, but it's not going to be the same because it's not going to mean anything.
It'll still be the Apple Cup.
It's not going to mean anything.
It didn't really mean anything anyway.
Yeah, it did.
UW's been better than WSU.
As Coug fans, if last ye's game meant something, it meant something.
Oh, for sure. Definitely has. I was just mainly
for bowl positioning.
Yeah, just making fun of WSU.
I know, but
yeah, I agree. It won't mean as much, but I don't think it'll affect it as much as you're saying.
But what's the point? So if you rewind back to when Mike Leach was here and the Cougs had that opportunity to go to the Rose Bowl, that was a really big deal. They're not
massive.
Are they going to have that opportunity to do that again? And then if they aren't, what the hell's the point of playing? You're almost as low as the University of Montana at that point. If you have no opportunity to play in any other game besides the Sun Bowl.
Well, that's all they have.
I'd rather watch the
That's all they have been playing.
But
I know having the potential to play more.
It gives colleges zero incentive to grow their program 100%. And go after those big time recruits because 100%. It's like, who cares? It's going to be like honestly, it's going to be like minor leagues. It's going to be the minor leagues.
It's going to be like NCAA Division I-A, and then WSU will be in NCAA Division I-B.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's again like.
It's a complete restructuring, and it is yanking at the. As you said, the rivalries, the traditions, the foundation of what made college football really, really special with specifically the rivalries and the aggressiveness of the fans to be able, because yeah, you're right, it does take the incentive away. I think, I don't know, because like you look at what's, and this is completely different, but it's kind of in the same vein. You look at the Premier League in England for soccer. There's relegation, so like if you suck, you drop down a league. If you're better, you go up a league.
Oh, you're talking about
soccer?
Oh, sorry. What?
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
There's relegations. Like there's still that incentive though. Like you can go up to a next league. That's not going to happen in this.
Right.
There is no incentive to bounce up a league because there's still going to be leagues. There's just going to be lower leagues that you can't jump between leagues. It's going to completely ruin. I think also as well the incentive to bring in greater recruits, and it's not going to allow a team like WSU like you said, to play for the Rose Bowl. They will be able to play in the Las Vegas Bowl, the Sun Bowl, and maybe the Idaho Bowl.
But honestly though, like we're not really that far removed from Mike Leach like almost taking these guys to a Rose Bowl. If they would have beat UW, they would have been in a Rose Bowl. Mm-hmm. Not that many years ago. And so now talk about a fall from grace. I mean, now it's like, honestly, what is there's nothing greater to strive for as a university.
Yes. Yeah.
And I just feel bad for the alumni, the fans, and the families that go down to Pullman and spend their time and hard-earned money on a product that really is more so a social event than an actual meaningful football game anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
that's the way it feels. And again, there's still a lot of dominoes to fall here.
Right.
But it's just the start of the crumbling of college football, and I can't help but believe that a lot of it's because of this name, image, and likeness thing.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. So the NIL accelerated this.
Absolutely.
This was going to happen one way or another since the media rights deals have become ginormous. But NIL definitely accelerated this because there's just even more money now getting put into college athletics. I don't mind NIL. I do mind the lack of regulation behind NIL. I always was kind of thinking with NIL is you could make that money, but it can't be accessed until you graduate or until you make it to the next level or something. When you're done playing in college, you then you can have access to the money, or you can have access to however much, whatever it is.
Right.
I just don't really I don't really love the idea of Drew Timme, for instance, making six figures and having access to six-figure money as a college basketball player. Yeah. And he's just Drew Timme. You're looking at college football, and it's going to be even more. The amount of money that gets funded or funneled into college football from donors and is completely different to what's happening in college basketball. There was a small rumor, and I don't think there's any way this happens, again, based off of media rights deals, that the commissioner of maybe the Big 12, anyway, someone high up in college athletics wants the NCAA tournament for basketball to be altered.
How so?
Just to be different, to kind of make it more top-heavy, to have the actual best teams as far as like names play every single year. So like even though Alabama isn't very good, they're still a recognizable name. Like they would play every single year no matter what.
What?
Oh yeah, there was definitely.
Well, that's a pretty dumb idea.
And I don't think that'll ever happen again because Turner Sports pays the NCAA like $1 billion a year.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with March Madness.
And I don't think they will. And I think college basketball will be less hurt from the realignment than college football. Just again, based off of the traditions and based off of
there's more money in football than basketball. So
there's more
at the
money,
college level.
Yes, there's more money in outside of the NCAA because the NCAA makes more money from college basketball than college football, which is odd.
Really?
Yeah, because the bowl games, game by game, when WSU has a game against UW in Pullman and they sell tickets, the NCAA doesn't get a cent.
Oh, you mean NCAA makes more?
Yes.
Got it. Okay.
If any, sorry, from college basketball.
I was thinking university money.
No.
Got it.
Yeah. So that's why I think because the NCAA still is running the show in some capacity. I don't think they have any idea what's going on with NIL, and I don't think they have any idea what's going on with the conference realignments. But there are no college athletics without the NCAA at the very top. So I don't think that'll change very much in basketball whatsoever. Let's see here. Craig said, leave Tiger Woods alone. LeBron makes me vomit. Gianni said, so you relegate a school out of the SEC and bring in a poor school like WSU, and then the SEC school just buys 5 new players and is back the next year, and WSU can't afford to keep up. Relegation won't work with a market this broad. It's good for these big schools that are already contenders and bad for everyone else.
Agreed.
Yeah, I think it will push out the small schools, and it will make like a minor league NCAA. There'll be a couple levels. WSU will be on might end up being similar to Montana.
And that's what I was going to say. Honestly, what this might be good for are teams like the Big Sky, or people in the Big Sky.
Yeah.
Like, if somebody's there knowing that, I'm probably not good enough to go play at SC or UCLA or Bama or whatever, why would I go play at WSU if I'm going to be a backup if I can go start up Montana?
Right.
And again, I know we talk a lot about Montana because I'm an alum, but beside the point, like, when you really think about it, these lower tier schools might benefit because they might get the trickle down effect of players that otherwise would have played at a higher level.
It might hurt the middle schools more so than
WSU.
Else. Mm-hmm.
I
think that's probably
what happened to tradition in our world? My God. Dough.
Yeah. Yep. Pretty much.
Moving on.
Do you know what money doesn't affect is Zach Wilson's ability to have relations with anyone.
What
an awesome story.
What a great story.
What a hilarious story. So essentially, let's bring this back. Zach Wilson, quarterback, New York Jets, former BYU quarterback, was dating a former BYU. I don't think she was a cheerleader. She went to BYU. Abby Guile, however you want to pronounce it. I'm going to say Guile. Abby Guile. Dating Abby Guile. They broke up, and she started dating his former BYU teammate, Dax Milne. So people were like, wow, I can't believe you're doing that. That's his teammate. How would you do that? That's just ridiculous of you. So she, I guess, posted on, I don't know where she posted. Oh, an Instagram comment. That's what it was. And she commented that Zach Wilson is a homie hopper for, quote, sleeping with his mom's best friend. Just out there for the whole world. And Zach Wilson, allegedly, during all of this the last week, has been over at Gaza Ranch.
Really?
Hanging out, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was at Gaza with some teammates and just relaxing and having a good time before training camp. So he came back 2 days ago and he said, sorry, I've been out of service. What's going on? And posted an Instagram photo of him at Gaza Ranch. He obviously knows what's going on.
Oh, that's funny. I didn't know that.
Yeah. And he, again, allegedly slept with his mom's best friend, and that's the reason why they broke up.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Hilarious.
But pretty damn funny.
Just an awesome story because then Zach Wilson's mom goes on an Instagram story, and she said, my friends are freaking amazing. By the way, stop calling my friends. You're annoying them. They're like, Lisa, these people are crazy. So people, I guess, are somehow finding the contact information for Zach Wilson's mom, Lisa, finding her friends' phone numbers and calling them, trying to figure out which one of her friends he slept with.
Oh, no. Not a good look. Not a good look.
Oh, man. So I don't.
Is it surprising? No, but not a great look.
We don't know if it's truthful or not. He's a Mormon, so I mean, there's no way.
Is he actually?
I think so. Well, look at his family. Here, look at these guys. That's a Mormon family through and through.
They all look the same. That's accurate. They look like great people.
Oh, they look like very nice people.
But yeah, that's unfortunate. Imagine what his mom feels like right now. Oh my gosh. Oh,
his mom's also a little crazy. His mom has all sorts of interesting takes. You'll have to,
as are most social media influencers.
Yeah, I'll have you go look at them yourself. Craig said bottom half of SEC and Big Ten is garbage and bye weeks for the big schools, and that's why they want to do it. I think they want to get people out of the league. They're like, we'd rather take the top teams from every other league and make one league rather than have, again, the garbage bottom of the SEC and everything. All right, this day in sports history. First color telecast ever.
Really?
This day in 1951. It was on CBS and it was a horse race.
That's actually pretty cool.
1992, the All-Star MVP, Ken Griffey Jr. In 2019, Djokovic beat Roger Federer for the longest ever Wimbledon final. They played for almost 5 hours.
That's unbelievable.
Of tennis. Also, birthdays today. Conor McGregor was born on this day in 1988. And golfer Kim Hoo-joo.
No, man.
Can
you say that again?
Kim Hoo-joo.
Just listening to you say that's funny.
That's what it is. He won the championship in 2014, the Evian Championship. Anyway, Jabroni, you go first. No, I'll go first, actually, because we have the nice little tie-in here.
Yeah.
LeBron. We're going to bring him back into the fold. As usual, LeBron makes the show and as a jabroni, as he usually does. Brittany Griner stuck in... She's also a jabroni, by the way. Turns out when you have drugs and you're trying to get on an airplane out of Russia and you get caught having drugs, that's not a great thing to do in a country like Russia. Even before this whole Ukrainian war, what an absolute moron. So, yeah, she's been stuck there for a couple months. That part sucks. I get it. For a couple, it's just...
Yeah, but maybe don't break the law.
But don't break the law.
I mean, there's one random idea, and that goes for everybody in society. These people that don't expect to get in trouble, how about you just don't break the law?
Oh.
It's really not that difficult.
Really? Wow.
But
nice.
no, nobody should have any accountability in this
especially
world,
not these famous athletes.
No.
Why should they?
No.
So she's stuck, and LeBron's all pissed off about it, as usual. And he said on some sort of show, on some sort of podcast, he says, how can she feel like America has her back? I would be feeling like, do I even want to go back to America? And he was like, I was taken out of context. And it's like, no, it wasn't. Like, we all know what what you're talking about. Enes Kanter?
Yeah.
He changed his name to Enes Freedom. He
kind of corny, but
it is. He says, so LeBron tried to step back and kind of distance himself from it. He said on Twitter, you call it a step back, we call this a walk back. You are free to leave, buddy, or you can even volunteer for an exchange for her. Some people literally have no idea what it's like to live in a dictatorship. Keep taking your freedom for granted.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Good for him.
It is awesome. Pretty ridiculous that, this continues to be a talking point from LeBron about how America is brutal and sucks, and he has been pampered his entire life.
That is accurate.
I mean, he grew up in a probably not a great childhood.
Akron.
But it turns out when you turn 8 and you're obviously a star, he's literally been babied his entire life. And I don't know if he, especially living in America still, turns out that's better than living in Russia.
He's just hopping on the bandwagon.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Did she go over to Russia to play in a league during off-season as well?
Did. Yep.
Because she makes so little money being the #1 WNBA star?
I mean, by little amounts of money.
Comparative to someone like LeBron James.
Yes, that part, comparing it to LeBron,
that is valid.
Definitely. But I mean, she still probably makes like a few $100,000 a year.
I'm sure it's still
to play 40
quite
games.
good.
They only play not even 40 games. They play like 35 games a year, which is weird. I didn't realize it was that small of a schedule.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
Because they're going to be playing 40 games next year, which is like the most they've ever played in a year, which also still seems wild. But yeah, don't bring marijuana into Russia.
Yeah.
Don't bring marijuana into Idaho.
that is also accurate.
That they'll get you over there too.
Well, another jabroni here. Moving on to the NFL. Pittsburgh Steelers. Their home stadium used to be what was known as the Big Ketchup Bottle. Heinz Field is now Acrisure Field. What an absolutely horrific fall from graces on that one.
I would be pretty upset. I'm upset, and I'm not even a Steelers fan. I mean, I hate the Steelers, and I'm upset.
I mean, again, it doesn't get much better than a nickname of the Big Ketchup Bottle, like Chris Berman would always used to say, and it's just not going to have the same vibe to it.
No.
And it took a little while for me to get over like Quest Field to CenturyLink Field, and now Lumen Field's actually pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Like, I think that was a good move. But they have to be in touch with their fan base and just people in general, knowing we're going to get absolutely roasted.
We're going to get destroyed. Yeah.
Regardless of what the money is. But again, money talks.
Right? So the theme of today's show is money talks, and you win some, you lose some.
Absolutely.
And Steelers lost one here. Definitely lost one here.
Big L.
All right, we're going to fly through. We're going to rank all stadiums real quick.
Very quick.
State Farm, no. Let's just put these in bad and good. We're just going to go top and bottom. That's bad. Mercedes-Benz, that's not their name anymore. They just changed too.
They did?
It is Mercedes-Benz.
Are we judging names or actual stadiums?
Names, just the names, just the naming.
Okay.
Mercedes-Benz, that's okay. We're gonna have a top, a middle, and a bottom. That's middle, I think.
Middle. Yeah.
That's M&T Bank, bottom. Bills is now they just changed their name to Highmark Stadium.
Bottom
as well.
Bottom. That's terrible.
Bank of America. Actually, middle.
Actually, I don't think Bank. Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah, middle.
Soldier Field's top.
Top
Yeah.
for sure.
You're welcome,
Easy.
AJ.
Paul Brown's top too.
Top. Yeah.
First Energy, middle. I think that's kind of unique. It's better than State Farm. AT&T,
Middle.
Yeah.
And where's? Oh, there we go.
Empower Field at Mile High,
Bottom.
Middle.
Okay,
Mile
middle.
High, because they still have that in their name. Ford, top.
Top for sure.
Lambeau, top. NRG, I don't even know what's NRG. Is that a bank? I think it's a bank.
Okay, that's bottom. Lucas Oil's top. Here, let's do alternate here. You got TIA.
Oh yeah, just give me that one for sure. Bottom. Thanks, dude.
Arrowhead's top.
Allegiant Airlines, bottom.
SoFi, middle of the road.
Yeah. You should be sorry. No, it's fine. No, we'll just sit up here looking like idiots. Top. Hard Rock for sure top.
U.S. Bank is middle.
Yeah, that's where we put Bank of America.
Yeah.
Gillette top. I like that one, actually.
Mercedes-Benz Superdome that's top.
They just changed their name, though.
Oh,
they
right.
did change their name. We'll come back. Put that one bottom. I'm pretty sure it's trash now. But anyway, put it at the bottom. Levi's.
No, you got to go to Heinz.
Oh, I see here. Did you do Lincoln Financial?
No, Acrisure.
No, I know. Did you do Lincoln Financial? The top one.
Lincoln's middle of the road.
We skipped MetLife, sorry.
MetLife's top. No, middle.
Oh, they're crummy life insurance. It's fine.
No, that's fine. I'll go. Lincoln Financial, bottom. Acrisure.
Yeah. No, Acrisure's on the bottom.
Yeah, exactly. Levi's.
Top. I think that's a sweet name, even though it's the Niners. Lumen's top, naturally.
Raymond James, top.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Nissan, middle.
What? Nissan?
Okay.
Yeah. No.
Sorry.
That's bottom, but that's fine. FedEx, I like that. FedEx feel has a nice, I like the alliteration. That's top. Is that it? I think that's it.
That's
nice.
it.
Yeah, there's some bad names.
Real bad.
At least it's not as bad as Climate Pledge Arena.
That's pretty piss poor.
Again, I've said this on the show. I don't mind the messaging, whatever. You can do what you want. It's just so clunky. Amazon would have been so cool if it just said Amazon Arena.
Yeah.
God, that would have been cool. Or like even if when they were renaming Lumen or CenturyLink, I so badly wanted it to be, or T-Mobile. T-Mobile also kind of sucks. I wish it would have been Boeing Field.
Boeing Field would have been awesome.
That would have been really, really cool. All right. Well, that was it. That was a good show today. A nice little, wandering back into the show. It's been a bit. It's been, again, since before. It's been 2 months. A nice little. It's been 2 months, and as I play myself here, something pretty funny over there.
Yeah. What are you doing, man?
Gianni said almost as bad as T-Mobile from Safeco. AJ says if that wasn't top,
Soldier.
Yeah, you guys would have lost all credibility. You guys would have lost all credibility if you have any left.
I was gonna say like we had any to begin with.
Yeah, exactly. We definitely don't have any. So thanks for coming by. That was fun. I did enjoy it. Thanks for scheduling. Hey, so Sam, we can schedule. So everyone knows moving forward, the show can happen on Thursdays between 11 and 2.
That's a great time, middle of the work week. Trying to put food on the table for my soon-to-be baby that's arriving in October. But it's okay, man. I'm happy to take time away from work to do this.
You're the one who actually wants to do it, but it's
fine.
I
know, I'm kidding.
I
love it. And as long as it's on the calendar, we'll make it happen.
Exactly. As long as it's on the calendar, we will make it happen because so badly, I just want to do this show every week.
I agree, man.
Okay? So thanks again. From us here at the locker room, we just want you to hold on loosely.
But don't let go.
Thanks.